Hello, it is that time of the week to have a stamp class. I am excited to be here today. It's always fun to create alternative projects using our paper pumpkin kits. And this month, we are focusing on the special delivery paper pumpkin kit from January 2026. And I can see we have a couple viewers, so that's my cue to officially begin with. Good Thursday morning and welcome to Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin. My name's Elizabeth Price. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Star, Idaho. And I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of stamping today, as I mentioned earlier, using the products. Let me just grab this kit from this month's, well, from January, it's now February, but from January's Paper Pumpkin subscription. This is the special delivery kit. So hello, Kat. It's so awesome to have you here. And hello, Rose Carey. Good to have you here as well. It's always fun to have friends stamping along with you. So I say, let's begin and dive into just a little bit of what's coming up stamp class wise. What am I offering coming up? And then we'll get on to the best part of today, and that is stamping. So here comes the hand. So I'm just going to do a quick turn down of my camera. Okay, there you see my ceiling. There we go. All right. So let me just tighten this up just a skosh. Okay. All right. So coming up, what is coming up? We are going to be having a really beautiful class this coming, the end of February. So the 26th. So the last Thursday of the month is my biggest stamp class of the month. And that is what I call Technique Time. This is an online stamp class. Anybody can join. If you're in the United States and want to purchase a kit, you can purchase a kit. Jolinda says, I'm here. Oh, hello, Jolinda. It's good to have you here. Glad you found it. Found me this morning. Okay, so anybody can join, is what I was saying. You can purchase a kit if you're here in the United States, or you can earn the kit for free. So if you have a purchase over $75, I will ship you my kit straight to your door. If you are outside of the United States, or you already feel you have all the product and want to cut your own kit, you can also purchase the PDF. So there's options for everybody. Also, if you were to have spent $75, you would be earning rewards. You would also be earning what we call the Global Ink Collective Tutorial Bundle. And this month's tutorial bundle is the Lovely Blossoms. So it's perfect timing. What is Lovely Blossoms? Well, it is a super cool sweet collection. And this is the bundle from the sweet collection. Hello, Jan Lacey. Good to have you here. So this bundle here, I really have loved some of the floral bundles. Obviously, we all do. But I really appreciate this one because the dies are so cool. I mean, yes, you have some open dies that coordinate with stamps in the set. But I love some of these that are a little bit more contemporary in design. And so that's going to kind of be a motivator for what we create. We'll have a little bit more of a modern contemporary feel rather than just an overspilling of lots of florals. All right, so that's coming up. If you need more information, just reach out. I will help you. Next month, I will be right here in my Seeing Ink Spots page with another paper pumpkin class. That'll be March 3rd. And this one's called Celebrate Spring. It coordinates with the Easter Joy Sweet Collection. So I don't have the collection, but I do have the designer series paper from the paper pumpkin kit that this coordinates with. So you might want to have a little bit of that on hand for this Upstyle. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, I wanted to let you know that March's Technique Time is going to be the cutest crew bundle. This bundle is so cute. So fun. So it's a nice departure to get away from all the flowers and leaves and just have some fun with some adorable little critters, some fur babies and some feather babies and butterflies, and just, you know, it's a charming bundle that I think we're going to have a lot of fun with. Now, why am I telling you this so early? One, you can earn it for free starting after my class in February, but this is sometimes on, sometimes it's not for sale because it's on back order. And so you have to kind of watch the window. So if you're looking for this and it is on back order, click the button that says notify me when it's back in and get it while you can. It's kind of a hot little commodity. All right. And then I just wanted to do a quick, the up style for, I know this is all the way into April, but the reason I'm showing you all three of these is because there are dies that we have right now that coordinate with January, February, and March's up style paper pumpkin. Not March, I said that wrong. With March, January, February, and April's paper pumpkin kits that I will up style, be having an up style coming up. Oh, goodness gracious. Nothing like tripping on my words. But this one's going to be super pretty. I love the colors in this. We've got some hummingbirds. I'm just kind of saying, don't forget to subscribe. Always subscribe by the 10th of each month so that you don't miss out on any paper pumpkin fun. All right, let me just straighten up my mess here. And we're here today to upstyle January's special delivery paper pumpkin kits. All right, what are we doing? We're gonna have some fun. Gonna have some fun stamping. I mentioned that I would be using the Beautiful Blooms dies. And so these coordinate, as I said, with January, February, and March's paper pumpkin kit. And this one in particular, very definitely, you can use it in all 3 months, but this one definitely coordinates with this month's kit. So I'm using that piece today, and I'll also be using the word beautiful. I know here it is backwards. I always love a greeting that we can die cut. That's one of my favorites. So we'll be using those, so I'll get those out. And let's see, what we're going to use for our very first card here is one of the pink plaid. So this is the plaid, one of the card bases. And this is going to be a portrait side fold card. So keeping it basic here. I typically do keep my up style folds a little bit more basic. I do get a bit more crazy in my technique time class. So if you love really clever folds and cool cuts, that sort of thing, fancy folds, then that class is for you. All right, so this piece here, I'm going to rotate it this direction so that I have these 3 spray buds right down here on the bottom, and that's going to go just like that. We always start out a little bit easy going here, but I think I am going to put this up on dimensionals. So that's going to be our very first step for our card today, and I should have prepped these, but let's just go ahead. And I'm going to turn these sides into some dimensionals here that I can use. Terry, hello. Hello. So, just curious, what have you guys been doing lately? Has anybody been doing some good old-fashioned stamping, paper crafting? Are you making Valentines? What's on the agenda when you get a moment to sit down and stamp? So today we are making some Valentines, and some of these are going to be every day, but just curious, you tell me. I don't want to be the only one chit-chatting. Tell me what's been going on. Okay, so I want these buds down here at the bottom. So this is just going on. I'm centering it. I'm eyeballing my center there. Okay, so then I'm going to be using one of the roses from the kit. I have the circle label from the kit. We're going to stamp that. We're going to zhuzh up our 3 flowers just a little bit. And then I have one of the square, not square, it's a rectangle label. All right, Rose Carey says she's making a ton of Valentines for her granddaughters, and I'm sure she's going to put them in some sort of cool box. She just makes beautiful things. Kat is doing Valentine and Encore cards. Okay, so that is super cool. I'm glad you mentioned Encore. What are Encore cards? Encore cards, I know what they are. Myself and Kim McGillis held a class last weekend, and it was an Encore class. And it was all about using up some of the scraps from the virtual card retreat. So that was a lot of fun. And we had some beautiful projects with that. All right, I'm starting with light bubble bath, and I'm just simply drawing some quick strokes, always starting at the center of the flower. And so all I've done is just added a few more extra strokes in there. And so I'm just going to quickly do that to each of these. And these strokes are shaped. I'm not doing just straight lines. They're shaped a little bit more like the petal. Okay, I got to back up. You guys had some comments here that I missed. All right, so Jan Lacey's trying to catch up on stamping. Awesome. I know you had a new grandbaby. Isn't it a baby girl? So we're looking forward to hearing some details on the newest addition to your family. How fun. How fun. Terry DeFont is working on Encore cards. Yes, I love to hear that. Jan Lacey, Encore cards. And Rose says she's got to start making convention cards. So Rose Carey is going to Long Beach. I know that because we've chatted. I am going to Long Beach. And so it sounds like she's making some swaps. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. So good. I'm glad to hear people are doing some stamping. All right. So just adding these quick little swishes of color. I mean, these are cute as white flowers, but I like them just a little bit more colored. I think I am a color person. I like when things are just a little bit more intense in color. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love light and it's nice and inviting and soothing, but I also like nice pop color. Okay, this is dark, and so I'm just going to add shorter little strokes here to the centers. Just to kind of, and I'm doing fewer of them going around. And if I feel like those aren't quite blending into the background, I'll come back in with my light and just blend those out a little bit. But they kind of lighten up over time. Let's get this last little guy. Just little, it's kind of like drawing sun rays around a sun. And I am going to soften just a couple of these with the light. While it looks good, I don't want it to look like obvious brush or pen strokes, if you know what I mean. And so these two, this one's really good. This one is a little heavier handed with how I was holding the pen to the paper. So sometimes just being a little bit further away from the paper allows for a more delicate touch, obviously. Okay, hello, Suzanne. It's awesome to have you here. All right, those are done. This big rose is done. Let's do something with these. Let's do some simple stamping. I'm going to use my ink spot that came with the Paper Pumpkin kit. And I'm gonna use a couple images here. This one here, I'm gonna stamp with Happy Valentine's Day. Let's see if I can find, oh, and that's the other image that I want. So here goes Happy Valentine's. It's just Happy Valentine's. There's no day there, that's okay. And that's gonna go on this image here. And I have there's a light row of pink. There's kind of a pink stripe down there. I'm gonna put that towards the bottom, and I'm gonna stamp this in the center, just like so. Cool. And then I'm going to stamp this piece with the round love, love, love stamp that has a heart in the center. And I'm just going to stamp it. It's not going to show a ton, but it's just going to add a little color, a little texture. And let's just put that directly in the center, like so. Okay, so far so good. Easy. That'll look so cute. And I'm going to add this right to, where are those pink lines? I'm just going to put that right through the center there. And yes, I know it covers some up, but that's okay. I told you it was just kind of background stamping. And so I'm just going to put a couple dimensionals on that. And we'll sit this right in the center. Covers up that cute heart, but that's okay. All right, then we'll bring our card back in. And let's assemble this. And so this first card here, as you know, if you've joined me before, I like to start out a little bit simpler and not be too wild and crazy. And so I'm going to take my big rose here. Now this rose, I think, you know, as you turn it, you can tell which way it's growing this way. It's looking to the sun, right? So I'm going to add my rose, and it's going to be giant, and it's going to come right in here. And I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on this. So you could do these cards all with glue or with dimensionals, whatever you prefer. I don't mind a puffy card. So if you're into puffy cards, join along and add some dimensionals. If you want them flat, then I would definitely add this level. I would glue that one down for sure, if that's going to be a concern. Okay, I'm going to add this one, and I'm going to go ahead and let it break the frame, the pink frame here. It's going to kind of go off to the side. And then these two, it doesn't really matter which direction you go with them, but just have some fun. So this is going to sit down in here, and it could be straight, or we could actually give it a little bit of a tilt. I'm going to put these on. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back here. Whoops, got a big one, so we'll use that one there. There. And I'll do a couple on this one. Okay. So we've had Letitia, is that how you say your name? Welcome. Beautiful. Your name is so pretty. I hope I didn't butcher it. Okay, so take either one of these, and we're just going to set this one. I'm kind of looking for how I feel it faces naturally. And this one's just going to kind of cover up right in here. This one I'm going to tuck underneath. Okay, I kind of want that little pink one to show in the background. And then this one is going to come up in here. All right, and so there's our flowers. And then we'll add our greeting here. And this one could glue if you're worried about dimension, or you can go ahead and pop it all the way up again. It's up to you. I think I'm going to glue. I kind of liked it kind of down below because the greeting is popped, right? And so we'll just tuck this one right in here. And I think I am going to bring it down just a little bit. We'll do something kind of like that. There's that. And then I brought out some gems. And so the gems I brought out today, these are the strawberry slush. That's kind of hard to say. The strawberry slush and pretty and pink gems. And so I'm going to use some of these today. You'll see me reach for them a couple times. These are just perfect because you get the white and gold, pretty and pink and gold, strawberry slush and gold. So I am going to add some pink ones here. I've got this one that kind of jumped off. So, you know, I'm just going to add a couple gems here. We'll add one right about here, right on top of that leaf. And then I'm going to do another one right by it. Okay. And then I'm going to add one more small, and I think I will add it probably right down in here. Okay. So keeping this first alternative simple and easy. Whoops, that's my gold Wink of Stella. And my gold Wink of Stella, all I did was add, you can add crumb cake or a little bit of pecan pie and crumb cake, or a little daffodil and crumb cake. Or if you still have some wild wheat, that's great. You add it to your Wink of Stella and you get a golden Wink of Stella. Okay. So I am just adding some Wink of Stella swooshes to those flowers. And I'm going to go ahead and give some splatters to this big rose and all over. And there you have it, folks. Our first pretty simple alternative, just rearranging elements that came in the kit. All right. So nothing too wild and crazy, although I did add the gems. So, all right, that was card number 1. Now we break all the rules and it's time to add whatever we want. I always try to do one with just the elements. Okay, so we are going to be using, for this card, I have a bunch of pieces here. Let's see. I have my card base. My card base is basic beige. I'm like, what color is this? Brain just decided to quit. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in here. And as I said, for upstyle, I like to keep the folds clean and simple. Okay, if you want those fancy folds and clever cuts, join me for technique time. And again, this is going to be a portrait card with a side fold. I like this. It's just very your super traditional, approach to card making. All right. I'm using the, this is, I don't know what you would call this. It's kind of like a scalloped oval. I guess that would be a good description. This is from the kit. And I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to zhuzh this up just a skosh. And I am going to take my blending brush, and I have a Mossy Meadow spot from, I don't know, previous Paper Pumpkin kit. I don't know which one, but I'm just inking up with a little bit of ink, and I'm going to kind of knock that off because I don't want those harsh lines. And I'm just going to add a haze of Mossy Meadow to this piece. And I'm trying to stay away from the edges because once you catch an edge, it gets a little bit darker, and I don't want that. I want it to just have a gentle haze in the middle. Okay, so it's subtle. If you want to add more, just keep blending a little bit more on. If you want it more intense, now that you've really kind of offloaded some of that ink, you can add just a little bit more pressure to what you're doing. But it's fun because the gold, it resists the ink, so it turns out really pretty. And there go the dogs. I should have put the door and made it so they couldn't come in. All right, now I'm also using, for this card, I'm going to use a piece of Very Vanilla, and you can see already that I have die cut the postage label. However, you might notice that my die cut here is a little bit smaller. And so I'm going to resize my dies, all right? And to do that, I'm going to make this die smaller. So I want it to just be about 2/3 what it is right now. So to do that, I've already got one cut. I'm going to place this, I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to place my die in here just like this. And I'm going to run it through and I have my mini machine here. Let's see if it'll fit underneath the camera here. Oh, it does. Great. Okay, so I'm going through the machine. Now, you might want to put a little piece of tape on it to be sure it stays in place, because you don't want it to jump out or you're not going to have a clean cut. So keep it right in there and line it up on both ends. Get it in there just right. Now, this end isn't going to fit exactly the same, but it's close. And just put that on, and then we'll run this through. And that is how you resize your dies. So it's all whether you're going to increase the size of your die or decrease the size of your die, you're going to have to run it through the machine twice. I think going smaller is easier than making it bigger, but it is totally possible. And I think you've probably seen me do that before. Now, this to me isn't trash. I can go ahead and run this through one more time, lining up like so, and I would get an even narrower postage die. So you could do the same thing and put it through and make it more square. Just with this one, you could really make quite a few different postage die shapes. Okay, so this is the one we're going to use. And I also have die cut the word beautiful. All right, look how cool that is. And I've die cut 3. And this, you've heard me do this many times before, but I've already die cut 3. And 2 of them are already glued together. So I just wanted you to see, definitely, you know, build them up so you don't have to add dimensionals. It's really rare that I don't build them up. I usually do. There are a few instances where I haven't, but I like to do that because it just gives it a little bit more prominence, a little more definition. And there's things you could do. You could kind of offset and make it be a shadow. I mean, there's just some cool things you could do. But layer your word dies. Okay, and these were all cut from Blueberry Bushel. And Blueberry Bushel is the blue that's featured in this particular paper pumpkin kit. Now, I have a teeny tiny strip of Very Vanilla cut from the same sheet. This is, it's 1/4 of an inch, all right? So it's just and don't worry about the size right now, but 1/4 of an inch. And let's see, where did my piercing mat go? Here it is. I want my piercing mat, not because I need to, I want the cushion, but because I want the contrast between my paper and my background so I can see where I'm stamping. And I am going to bring out Blueberry Bushel here. Oh no, I'm sorry. I am going to use some Blueberry Bushel, but I'm going to stamp the greeting here in Old Olive. I want a contrast with this. So here's Old Olive. And I should have cut 2 of those because I hope I can stamp this straight and in the center. It's really, really narrow. Okay, I did it, I hope. Okay, cool. Yeah, Rose Carey says she layers all her sentiment dies as well. Okay, there's You Brighten My Day. And I'm just going to take my snips and just trim a little off the end. So 1/4 inch by the greeting. How's that for a dimension? Just a little bit longer than the length of the greeting. Now I'm going to do a little bit more stamping to my piece here. And I'm going to stamp with Blueberry Bushel. And I know this may be crazy, but in this kit, love this cancellation stamp. I just think it is so cool. And I'm going to ink it up in Blueberry Bushel. And I don't want it to be, is it stuck to the, I can't quite tell, felt a little loose on the block. So I'm inking it up and I'm going to stamp off. I don't want it to be too strong. I'm going to bring the word beautiful in here. That's not exactly where it's going to go, but I kind of want to know, I want this cancellation image to start on the T full. And I'm just going to do a little light background stamping right there. Okay? So just adding a little texture, just like we did on that first card with the circle image. We gave it a little bit of added texture. All right, that is ready. Okay, I have some other things I want to get ready, and that's this piece here. I love this. We're gonna go ahead and cut this apart and make it something a little bit different than what it is. And so I'm just going to kind of cut right in here and follow that petal, and I'm gonna follow right there. So now I have this spray of flowers, and I have this one. All right, we have 2. And I have also die cut 2 leaves. Now you could take any spray leaves die that you have in your stash of supplies, of your the things you have in your, whatever's in your library of dies. I happened to pull out the Greenery Lane dies because they were out. I was working on prepping a class for my friends in San Ramon, the Bay Area. And so that's where this die comes from. We're actually going to take a look at some of the others in just a minute too. But for this one, we're right here. And so that's what I did. And I cut with vellum. So any leaves are going to work. So we'll just kind of set those aside. Let's take this piece here and let's start to add this onto our card here. I feel like I have a frog in my throat. So I'm just going to bring these around. Oops, got 2 dimensionals on that. That's okay. And we'll peel these off. And this is going to sit down center. Center from top to bottom and right to left. Okay. Just put that right there. I really do like basic beige with this particular kit. I just think it's a good fit. Okay. Now we're going to take our label here, and our label is going to get some dimensionals as well. I'll put a couple on here. I'm like, what's that? That's the tape from my masking, not masking, but repositionable tape. I'm just going to leave it there. Oh, you can see it here though. So let's clean this one off. If it doesn't show, no biggie, but if it shows, I don't want that. Okay, that's good. I folded it back. Okay, and this is going to sit, and I'm going to bring it just a skosh lower than higher from top to bottom, but it's going to sit even from left to right. Okay, so there's that. And now we're going to add a spray up. And we'll add a spray down. However, I think I'm going to trim just a little bit of this one off so that it fits. This one's going to come in here. I'm hitting my dimensionals as usual. So you know what? I'm just going to take a little bit more off. Just trimmed a little bit more off. Get in there. Okay. There we go. So those are going to go in there. And I'm going to set a spray up in here and a spray down in here. So I think, let me try reversing these because I think this one is just a little shorter. These 2 are going to go in here and in here. So let's just, I'm going to hold these together, turn this over, and I'm just going to add little touches of glue to the stems here. And I'll set these in. Okay, and I'm looking for a little bit of a cascade action going here, starting from the top left down to the bottom right. And we'll do the same thing with these 2. Okay. Give them a little glue. And tuck them under. And then we'll add pretty, so pretty. And then these 2 will come in and be like so. And I'm going to bring my gems in. All right, so let's just kind of put all this together. This, I am going to put some dimensionals on this. I may have to cut them. These are going to be a little too fat for that. So I'm just doing some of the side here of my mini dimensional sheet. We'll put that one like that. And we'll put this one on. Doesn't want to cooperate. All right. Is anybody, I know a bunch of you mentioned you were doing some Valentine. What colors are your Valentines? I mean, are they all traditional colors? Are you throwing in a, you know, an unusual pop of color? What's your plan? Okay, so this is going to set towards the bottom. I need to make a card today for a color challenge. And the color challenge is Bubble Bath, Melon Mambo, and Black. So I think I'm going to do a Valentine in that color palette. Okay, got the beautiful, and I might tuck that right underneath. Get that just where you want it. Okay, and that's where that one is going to set. Let's add some gems to this. Hello, Sandy. Welcome, and I'm glad you're here. We're doing a little bit of alternative cards using last month's Paper Pumpkin kit. At the very end today, I will show all of the ones that I've done, so you'll see them all. And then I will photo them and add them here to this Seeing Ink Spots page, and they'll go up tomorrow. Okay, this is Old Olive. I'm going to add some Old Olive splatters to this, just to soften all of this stark cardstock here, the vanilla and the basic beige. It just, I think, lends a little bit of life and visual depth. So there's some Old Olive. I didn't go too crazy. And then we will do Wink of Stella. So Rose Carey says her 8-year-old granddaughter loves pink and your 6-year-old loves blue. Okay, so you'll work those in. Yep, that totally makes sense. That's so fun. All right, I think this card, this is a really pretty card, you guys. I wish you could see it in real life. Make yourself one and you'll see how pretty it is. So again, my colors, Blueberry Bushel, Basic Beige, Very Vanilla. So those are the 3 that I added into this mixture here. And then again, use any, you can see how any type of leaf dye would work just fine on this card. Okay, that was card number 2. Let's dive right into card number 3. We are going to use the postage images for this card. So got a lot of pieces here. This is the larger of the pre-cut postage labels that are in the kit. And I have the white card base from the kit. Now this card base is not 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 finish. It is, I believe it is 3 1/2 or 3 3/4 by 5. Yep, that is what it is. So it's note card size. And I know some people were having some questions about how does this work. I'd never heard what the answer was, so this was my interpretation of what you would do with this particular card base, and that would be to add the note card to the back side of this label, and now you have a cool shaped card that is full size, and it still opens, and you see everything. So that's going to be my approach with this. However, I'm going to turn it this way. So for right now, let's just do that right away. And I got a dimensional backing there. Let's add this to our postage label, the big die cut here. Okay. And I'm just going to center this the best I can. Pretty good, pretty good. And so now the card, it still opens, but you have a little bit, it's just a little bit of a different approach. Hey, Valerie, good to have you here. Jan popped on. So good to have Jan here as well. Go ahead, hit the like button. Later on, share the video with your friends. It helps spread the word that we're having some fun stamping. Okay, we are going to stamp this quite a bit. Let me just kind of give you an idea where I'm going to do this. So it's very similar to their kind of approach, but I'm just kind of mixing it up and doing my own thing for this one. So we're going to have this piece kind of coming through here, and I've got a couple pieces. Oops, that's upside down. This one's upside down. Why didn't somebody tell me? So these are going to kind of come onto the page, obviously not quite so, I'll do it more controlled than that, but I'm going to do some stamping. And so I just kind of want some spaces I need to see where I'm putting things. So I'm going to put this one for sure in its place. And this one is going to, I'm going to move it out past the frame. We're going to break the plane there. And I'm going to bring it down. But the first thing I want to do is I want to find, let's see, where is it? It's the airmail stamp. This little airmail stamp. That is so cool. So my brother back in the 80s was in Hong Kong for a couple years serving a church mission. And we had to send via airmail back then. You know, now it's a little different and everything's email and whatnot, but it was a little trickier. So, I mean, this is kind of a cool reminiscent image here. So I'm inking up with soft seafoam. So I did some stamping and some things earlier with this particular set. And I decided, I was looking at the colors here, and I'm like, well, how is it if I add a little bit of lemon lolly? And lemon lolly, I was like, whoa, no, that's not the color I want. But I found that soft seafoam was a great color with this kit. So you just kind of have to play with colors. Okay, I did that one so I knew where this image was going to go. And that's going to go right about there. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to do just a tiny little line like that, a couple little marks there, so that I know where I'm going to add the large rose image. And I'm going to add the image in, this is going to be also stamped in soft seafoam. And so it's going to just kind of come right up in there. Okay, so I've got the rose. I know it's kind of hard to see. There it is. And there's that airmail image. And I'm also going to, so let me put this one on. I'm going to go ahead and put this one actually on. I think I'm ready for that. You just erase those two little lines. And this is going to go on with dimensionals. Okay, so if you attended the virtual card retreat, they asked, do you start in the center of your dimensionals or do you go from the edge? How do you do your dimensionals? I dive right into the center. You just saw me do it. Okay. And so this one is going to go just right between those, break that plane there. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to add a couple of my others because that's going to help me, you know, where some of these other images are going to go. So this one is going to kind of come into here. And I want it to be, so that row of hearts. So I'm just having some fun. I think I need to clean this because it had red on it. I'm just going to add the row of hearts here. Whoops, it fell right off the block. When you clean your images, do you clean? I also clean the back. And that helps them to stick better. Sandy Graham says, hello, don't usually catch you live. Always love your paper pumpkin alternatives. Hey, you know what? I super appreciate your comment. That's sweet. I'm glad you do see them. All right. And so this is going to just stamp right up here at the top. So basically what I am doing for this card is just having some fun, doing some collage style by mixing the postage stamps with some stamping. Rose starts her dimensionals in a corner and works across like eating corn on the cob. We did talk about corn on the cob, but you know what? When I eat corn on the cob, I dive right into the middle and work my way across and around. I'm both typewriter and roller when it comes to eating corn. All right, I'm not going to quite stick this one on just yet, but it is going to go right there. But I want to kind of give myself a guide with a little bit of I just gave myself a couple little marks there so that I knew where I was going to put the cancellation stamp. Now, it too, I'm going to stamp it in the soft seafoam. So it's just going to come in here and let it go right across. It's okay if it goes across the frame right there. And let's see, we're going to do one last image, and it's going to be the circle with the heart inside. And it too is going to be done with the soft seafoam. So everything that I'm stamping on the background here is soft seafoam. And this one's just going to come down here in this bottom corner, like so. Oops, that's got a little bit of red behind it, but that's okay, I guess. New color ink. I should have done a little bit better job when I was cleaning it. I am finished with the soft seafoam for now. Okay, and let's put some of these away. I have one last thing I want to stamp, and that's going to be our pink label here. And I'm going to stamp the pink label. I'm going to stamp it with the Mossy Meadow. Okay, you could use the Poppy Parade that's in the kit, but I kind of wanted to keep it a little bit more natural feeling. So here comes the Mossy Meadow, and I needed to give it a quick clean because it had the other color on it. And this greeting says just for you, in case I didn't say that or you didn't catch. Okay, Kat, you and I stamp alike. She starts in the center and works herself out. That's exactly what I do. Okay, and so this one's just going in the center. Nothing fancy here. Straight down, straight up stamping, just like that. Cool. Yeah, I like that in the Mossy. I think the Poppy for me would be just a little bit too, I don't know, too in your face. You know, it just too much of a punch of color. I want it to be more soothing in a way. Okay, so this is we're going to start to just add all of our pieces here for our collage. That piece is going there. And these are all going to go on with dimensionals. If you want to glue, you do you, as we always say. But I like dimension. And so this one is going to kind of break the plane and come right up and cross over there. And then we'll add the blue one here. Same thing with dimensionals. This one's a little bigger. I might give it 3. So, do any of you like to sit down? I don't always do it, but sometimes I do. And that is to make the cards exactly the way Stampin' Up designs them. Do any of you do them that way? I'm not quite sure that's exactly where I want it. I think I'm going to hold this one off for just a second. Or do you always change them up? Just curious what each of you, when it comes to paper pumpkin, what you like to do. Did you guys know that I have a Facebook group called Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin Backstage Pass? That group is fun. It gets updated with all kinds of videos, alternative projects each month using the Paper Pumpkin kit. Okay, I'm kind of holding off on that one. And then this one will come right in about there. I'm gonna bring that down. Okay. Anyway, in that group, I post videos that are all alternatives using the Paper Pumpkin kit, and it also includes the Paper Pumpkin Creatives tutorial bundle, and that is for anybody who is a Paper Pumpkin subscriber through me or a team member. So, Jan Lacey says she always changes them. Okay. All right, and I'm just trimming that off just so it's not sticking too far out because I do want it to still fit in the envelope here. And I am going to add a little linen thread to this. And so I have a couple linen threads out. I have the original linen thread, and I have the Old Olive from the Old Olive and Early Espresso. And so it's like, what color should we do here? And I've got to pick this up because it's going to go under there. So I've just kind of lifted that up a little bit. Rose Carey says, once in a while, you will do a card with their directions, but you wait for mine. Don't wait for mine. There's so many cool things out there. All right, so I'm going to try an Old Olive shoestring bow here because I kind of liked the way it pulled in with the leaves and then the greeting. This is good too, but was just going for something a little bit more. All right, and so I'm just going to lift this up just a skosh so I can get that in there. I always do this, folks. It's like, I don't know why I don't plan ahead and just not put it on until the right time. All right, there we go. So I'm just kind of wiggling this in here, and my dimensionals there are catching that ribbon. It's not ribbon, it's twine. It's linen thread. It's not twine. It's not ribbon, it's linen thread. Okay, I think, well, let's just check. What would it look like if I added pink? So I'm just going to kind of lightly set this one down, not even really in a place, versus the beige. I mean, well, I called it beige, even though it's clear with gold. I don't know, folks. What color should I do? I think I'm going to be daring and be more colorful here, and I'm going to go with the pink. My gut instinct said white, the clear, but we're going to go this direction. And I'm going to do one. I'm going to tuck one in there. And let's see, let's do a couple more. Maybe one up in here. And one more. So we've got 5 on here this time. We'll go here. Well, no, because then they're all the same. We'll tuck it down in there like that. Okay. So, I don't know. Maybe I don't want that many. Or maybe I need one more. Do I need one more? But see, these are now all, it feels like they're all in a row. Here we go. Oh, I don't know. You never know. I always say, check back tomorrow when you see the pictures. I might have pulled some off. I might have put a few more on. We'll see. So I am going to give it a little bit of Stella Shimmer here. Why? Because we can, and we love to. And we'll give these flower centers a little bit of a pop, right? Okay. And there you have it. That's our third card. Just kind of a collage style approach using all of those postage stamps. Now, maybe you guys might remember the challenge for January, Stampin' Up! Official challenge for January was a sketch challenge. And so this is using the postage stamps. This card in person is so pretty. It really is really pretty. But this is using the bubble bath base and then the pieces from the stamp set and the paper pumpkin kit. I've stamped the rose in Mossy Meadow, cut it out, and used a blending brush just to swoosh a little color on. I will say, I don't know if you can see it, there is a designer series paper right here for that strip of paper to match the sketch challenge. When I post this, I will post the challenge card with it, the challenge layout that from Stampin' Up! With it. But this piece of paper, this designer series paper, is from the Mixed Up Patterns pack of paper that's in the mini catalog right now, the January to April mini catalog. All right, so there was that one. Now I have one of the envelopes here. Look how great that looks. While we have the stamps and ink out, let's do a little decor here. And so I'm just going to do the cancellation stamp right in here. Okay, just having some fun. And here's the rose image. And I'm just going to pop this down in the other corner. It's very subtle. That one barely shows up. And then I'm going to do the row of hearts as well. But just have some fun. Do whatever you want. But I'm going to do the row of hearts, like right. We'll just kind of overlap the images. I like to do that. A little row of hearts right in there. So just a little added texture. It doesn't have to be anything too wild and crazy and fancy. just while they're out, have some fun. Same thing with the inside. You could stamp some of those roses and the cancellation stamp in there. And I'll do some inside stamping in just a bit here. But for now, let's keep going on with some card fronts. And this next one, okay. So this next one, I've got, this is the postage stamp. I didn't shrink it, I don't think. Nope, I did. What I did is I embossed it. And you could use any embossing folder you want. I happen to use this one right here. It's a brand new embossing folder. It's called Lovely Stripes. And this is part of the Lovely Blossom Sweet Collection. So I'm going to be using this in my Technique Time class this month. It is part of that Sweet Collection. If you don't have it, not to worry. You could always use another what I call a neutral folder. So it's not like a flower or words or birds, it's texture. And so this is Lovely Stripes. So I've done that right here, ran that through. And this is soft seafoam. And let's see, the pieces I'm gonna be using for this, other than that, are all from the kit here. So these are my pieces that I'm going to be using. This is my added piece in here, just to create a little bit more drama and background for my rose here. Speaking of the rose, I am going to pull out just a self-healing mat. This one's seen some abuse. And I have a very sharp brand new blade in my hobby blade, this really old piece. Now, there is a hobby blade that you can add to your take your pick tool. I just don't have that one out right now. I have this one. And what I've done is I've already started doing some slicing and dicing on here. And just pick some random petals, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of follow along the petal, but I'm never going to go all the way to where the petal, into this next layer. Because if you do, you'll end up cutting them out. So just go through and make some holes so you can see from the back that I've already pre-done some. And then what that allows you to do is to kind of curl some of these up just a little bit. And I'm just using my fingers because I'm afraid if I use a bone folder, it will get just a little bit too crazy. And then I pull my bone folder out. But I feel like I can do some of these downward ones and it will be okay. It's the ones on the inside. So I've done some upward, some down. This one I feel like should go down. And then this one. So we're just creating some dimension in our rose here. Okay, just kind of get in there, lift that one, just go in there, and it just creates a little bit of dimension. Hopefully you guys can see that. I definitely see it here in real life, but you don't want so much dimension that you see a hole, right? It does need to stay as one piece. So do that to your rose. Okay, and let's lay this one out. This is also going to be a portrait side fold card. Wow, not thinking too far out of the box on this one, are we? Okay. And this time I am going to stamp with the Poppy Parade. We're going to make this one kind of jump out at us a little bit more. And we'll pick up on all of the red detail in the floral image there. So let's do some stamping. Let me bring this guy in. So I have some contrast. And I am going to stamp the love circle that has the heart in the middle. I couldn't remember what I stamped with it last, so I just did a quick clean. Inking that all up. And it doesn't really matter where you stamp it, but just, I'm going to stamp it in the center. There's that. Those two center lines kind of go away at that point. Let's see. I'm going to stamp this piece here with the Happy Valentine's Day, and we'll stamp it in the red. Same place, just kind of right in the center. And I have that little pink strip down at the bottom. Cool. And I have one of the labels here. This is from the kit. I'm going to stamp the bottom of this one with the airmail. Here it is. Just giving that a quick clean. And before I stamp the airmail, I want to do a row of hearts. Let me clean it. Okay. I want the hearts on the bottom. That's why I'm going to stamp them first. So I'm just going to do a row of hearts right down here across the bottom of the label. Cute. That little row of hearts is stinking cute, man. Oh, Kayleen's popped on. Hello there. As you know, just making some alternatives using the paper pumpkin kit. This is the airmail image. I've just kind of done that up together. So we're going to have one here, and we'll have one kind of in here. Okay. And we're going to have our big rows just kind of cut through all of this. Now, this is background. Don't worry if it gets covered. That is intentional. We're going to put our rows in here. And this is just kind of background. And then this piece is going to kind of come right. It's going to go right about there. Okay. And I have one more rose image here. And this one kind of come up in there. So we're just kind of playing off of some of that earlier looks. And I'm going to do one more. Do I want to or do I not want to? Yeah, it does. I'm supposed to go there. I'm just kind of playing around with placement. Let's get this started. Now you kind of can see where things are going to go. I'm going to glue this one down. Okay. And I'm going to glue this one down as well. The cool thing about this embossing folder that we were just talking about, the lovely stripes, is that what it's called? I don't even remember. Short-term memory. Oh, brother. It's called Lovely Stripes. Okay. It looks great either direction. So just have fun with it both directions. Okay. So I'm coming down in here and we'll add, I'm going to actually put this on top, I think. Okay, that layer is there. And then this one we'll put on also with glue. Just going to put that right underneath, bring it down a little. Okay, now I'm going to do something unusual here. And I'm going to use both dimensionals and glue. I'm just putting my ink pads away before I wreck something. I'm going to use dimensionals and glue for this. So here's where I'm going to put dimensionals. I'm going to put dimensionals out here on the buds, the rose bud, and the leaves, but I'm going to glue the center down. Okay, that way this has dimension, but it ends up having one layer of dimension rather than, because if I put that all up, you get what I mean. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a couple dimensions on the rose. So the rose will kind of pat that down, so it won't be all crazy, crazy tall. Plus we glued everything. Okay, getting all these dimensionals off. Couple more to go. Hi, Cindy. The refills for this are sold out? Wow. Wow, that surprises me. Well, I guess it's Valentine's, that's why. Okay, so this is just going to kind of, like I say, yep, we're going to cover up some of that, but that's okay. But I'm just kind of looking at the whole thing here, going for some balance. And now if I wanted to, but by the time I put the rose on, I don't need to glue the center. Plus who in their right mind would put a dimensional on that? I might. Okay, so you've got your dimension on your rose. Add this in here. And then our Happy Valentine's Day. So I think what I'm going to do is add my dimension. So I know I'm going to put my there. And I think the rest I can pretty much glue to the flower. We'll hold that up. And I had the postage label designed to kind of come up in here. But I kind of like it without way better. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to have any. You know? It's good to edit yourself. Okay. And we're going to let that kind of come off the edge a little bit. Just like that. Okay. And let's add some. So, I mean, this could be added to another card. It could be added to the inside of the card and be sweet. So have some fun with that. I'm just going to save that for another project. But this is just kind of a sweet and simple approach. Let's add some gems to this. This time I think I might add some strawberry slush. You know, a little bit more vivid in color to play up the ink color. So there's a couple there. And then let's just do another one right up in there somewhere. So, maybe it's going to go in here. Yeah, well, it's going to be different. We're going to go right there in that little cul-de-sac. Okay, I am going to spritz this with Wink of Stella, but I also brought out my Poppy Parade Stampin' Blend here. So I'm going to give this, I'm not going to go too crazy, but just a little bit to add some of that dimension. I really like it added to some of the flowers and leaves when I'm splattering. There we go. It needed just a good hit. And, of course, we'll stellize because we can. And we should, because it makes everything good. All right. That, folks, is a super, super easy alternative. Just adding an embossed piece in there. And I like the green. It kind of bridges between the pink and then the dark, dark green here. So that, for those popping on, Karen, I just saw you pop on for a second. That is soft sea foam. So there is that. And again, doing kind of a little bit of a collage style approach. So let's see what's next. We're going to have some fun. Okay. So this one, man, I should have brought the other out with me. Hello, hello. This card that we're going to do is going to follow the sketch challenge from our Encore class. And so our Encore class, we had a sketch challenge, and it's a super cool one. And then I used it and created another card using leftovers from the virtual card retreat, and we have a bonus video on that, in that group, on that page. And so this is that same sketch. So I'm going to use the oval, the scallop oval here. Guess what? Surprise, surprise. It's going to be a portrait card. I like portrait. Can you tell? And I'm going to have a side fold. And I'm going to take this piece here, and we're going to do the same thing we did with the green one on the first time we used this. Only this time I'm going to add a little bit of a haze of bubble bath instead of the dark green. So let me get my scratch paper out, get my blending brush going, go around the sides. There's more ink right in there. Get all those bristles. You do all that work and now knock it all off. You just want those harsh moments, those harsh bits of ink gone. And then just come in and we'll give it a haze just like we did with the Mossy Meadow earlier. And this one might be a little harder to see because of how light Bubble Bath is. I see it happening. I think I can kind of see it in the camera. But just get in there. And when you feel comfortable that you're not going to get one of these harsh lines, add a little more pressure, and that will offload a little bit more ink. Okay. And it doesn't have to be a ton. We just want a hint of color in there. I'm going to do just a little bit more right in through here. Okay. There it is. So keep that nearby because we're going to stamp with it. And I'm going to be stamping the rose image this time. So let me give it a quick clean because we don't want soft seafoam. We want bubble bath this time. So here we go. Here's bubble bath. And I'm going to add some stamping of the roses in the top left and the bottom right corner. So I'll have some going off the edge. And I'm going to rotate and stamp off and have a little bit more going here. Okay, that one's really light. That's okay. I'm going to stamp off again and do one up in here. And I'm going to do some more full strength, but I'm going to really give it a rotation and kind of come like so. Just laying down some texture using some of these images. That's looking really pretty. I'm going to do a couple more stamped off. All right, so I just kind of, I wish you could see the stamped off ones, but you can kind of see some going down through there. So that's the first bit of stamping. I need my trimmer next so that I can chop this in half. So I'm going to chop it right down the middle, widthwise. And let's see, how long is this, or how wide is it? It's 4.5, so I'm going to put this tip at 2 1/4. I'm going to try and straighten that the best I can. Okay, and we'll just chop that right in two. Just like so. I'm going to hold both of these together, and I'm going to use a hole punch. So during our encore retreat, Kim McGillis was using the hole punch trio. I don't even know what it's called, but I'm like, oh, I want those punches. So I bought them. They're on order. They're coming someday soon. So these two are going to kind of overlap. I might have to trim some of these off just a little bit because I feel like they're a little bit wide. And I think I will. I'm just going to take about, I'm going to take about 3/16 off of each side here. All right. Just because it's a little wider than I want. Same thing on this one. Yeah, I've been using that funny little hole punch for years and years and years. But I thought maybe it's time to get a Stampin' Up 1/8" hole punch. Yeah. Okay, here's a good question then. It's kind of along that line. What's the newest thing you've purchased from Stampin' Up that you're loving? Okay, I need dimensionals. Let's see, where are my dimensionals? They're buried under all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the edge here. On both of them. Okay, and then I'm going to attach these to my card, and you could do them dead center. I'm going to go just a little bit higher than dead center. I just find that more pleasing than being always like center. But look, I'm going to cover up my stamp in here. Not all of it, but so you can see I'm a little higher. And we'll do the same thing on this one. Kind of line that right up. Cool. Okay, just like so. Now we're going to take some linen thread. You could use either the olive or the linen color. I'm going to use the linen color. And I'm going to go ahead and string this through. String this through. And I'm going to cut enough off for a decent sized bow. Sing it with me, Rose. I like big bows and I cannot lie. I do. A tiny bow has its place, but I don't do them very often. Now, this is more than what I need, and I'm just kind of straightening that a little bit. But I'd rather have more than what I need than not enough and go, oh, man. Okay, so I also need some, let's see here. All right, I've got this from the kit, and I got some other pieces. We're going to need this piece from the kit as well. And I am going to separate this one just like we did the first one in the exact same place. And so I'm just coming around this little petal and then up into that leaf, okay? So that I have a spray coming up and we'll have a spray coming down as well. All right, now I have some other things here that it looks like I've pre-stamped because I was kind of practicing. So let me actually here's a piece of blue, and I'm going to cut myself, because that one's kind of crooked, but I'm going to cut myself a 1/4 inch strip here. All right, and then I'm going to cut a 3/16 of an inch strip. Okay, so that's 1 tick mark before a 1/4. All right, so I've got a couple skinny strips there, and I am going to stamp those. You kind of preview of what I'm going to do here. The skinnier one, I'm going to do a row of hearts in bubble bath, and then the wider one will be the greeting that says, "You brighten my day." Okay, and I'm going to stamp these in bubble bath. Okay, just a row of these, and I'm going to put them towards the end here, and I'll be trimming some of that off. Okay, there's that. And then I'm going to use blueberry bushel for my greeting. Because for this card, I actually did the beautiful in Mossy Meadow. Hey, Jacqueline. Late or not, she's here. I love it. Okay, so let's see. Blueberry bushel, you brighten my day. I don't know what color I did it last time. I think it was, so I just have to clean it. Good thing we have our the chamois and that I have it out with me. All right, so this I'm just going to put in the center for now. I will trim as needed. So it's a 1/4 inch strip. Cool. And then I have a 3/16 strip. I know, so little. And we're going to use this piece. So we've got all of these pieces are going to kind of come into here. And then we'll kind of be tucking some of these as needed. Now, what else do I have here? So earlier I mentioned that I used the this large leaf from the Greenery Lane dies. Now what I want to show you what I'm using, and I should have brought the entire roll, but I didn't. The Greenery Lane washi tape. I've mounted mine on vellum cardstock. And this stuff is so fun. What you do is you take the matching die and you add it on top of your washi and you die cut it. And you have these beautiful washi tape style leaves. Now, I will say when using this, repositionable tape does not work well with the washi tape. It slips off. So you're going to want to use good old Scotch tape. And what I do is I take my Scotch tape and I fold the edge over to make a little flap so that I can pull it off easily enough. But definitely use tape when using the washi tape, when die cutting the washi tape. You will be so much happier. But what I've done is you can see I've got a bunch die cut here. I just had some fun. I was prepping for that San Ramon kit stamp club that I do. So I was prepping their kits. Anyhow, so I've got some leftover leaves All right. And you could use any of the colors. I'm just going to use these two because they're out and they're handy. But talk about fun product. This Greenery Lane bundle is really cool. And then the washi tape added with it. Gotta love it. So I have a couple washi tape leaves here just to kind of flush this out a little bit. Now I have another washi tape leaf that I grabbed that I kind of played around with it a little bit. And this isn't, I don't know if you can see, I added a little bit of Blueberry Bushel ink blend to it with the bullet tip. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. I kind of can't tell if I like it. But as I get things going together, then it will make more sense, if you know what I mean. All right, so we're going to tie our bow first thing off. In the sketch challenge that we did in the Encore class, I had this as a tag attached, but this one's I'm going to do just a little bit different, which is fun because you don't have to follow the sketch exactly. You do what's going to work for your current project. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of tie this bow, which is being a little unruly. There we go. Tell it who's boss. Right? So we've got our ribbon ends, or rather our linen thread loops going. And I'm going to add, this one's going to kind of come out this way. They're going to come and overlap this way. So let's add these with some dimensionals. I'm not going to put them on fully just yet because I want to tuck in the washi tape leaves underneath. Okay, just to give this a little bit more, it needs just a little bit more oomph back in here. So we'll just add one on top, reach that in there. And if I need more, you saw I had plenty cut. I could definitely go there. Where's my other one? There it is. And I'm going to add dimensionals to these. Add that there and there. Same thing here. We'll add some down below. Be sure to get behind where the color is so that you can't see. I mean, you can kind of see those, but as I tuck them in, you won't see them. Okay. These are just going to come in here. This is just kind of pretty. Then our greeting is just going to come right across, and we'll add the beautiful. Oh, so pretty. And then we're just going to kind of tuck these in. And a little row of hearts as well. So I'm going to trim those. All right, so let's actually start to glue some things down and make this more permanent than just kind of laying it out. Hello, Norma. Thank you for popping on and joining us. We are making alternatives using January's special delivery paper pumpkin kit. Kayleen, I can't believe it's sold out. Good. It's kind of good to find these things. Okay, there's that flower. And we'll kind of set these down in here as well. So how many of you have the dies for this? Okay, I can't quite remember how that was going. I think we'll go there. Kind of opposite. The dies, again, these are called the Beautiful Blooms dies. And so that's where I die cut my greeting. And I've been using the postage die as well today. I really like how they've been designing these paper pumpkin dies lately. I think they've just turned out really, really good. Okay, I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. There we go. All right, now we're going to add this with some dimensionals as well. Just reach that across. I know, Jacqueline, I do too. And as soon as they say they're out, she says she always buys the dies. But as soon as Stampin' Up says, okay, they're ready, you can purchase them, I get them right then and there because sometimes they sell out pretty fast. I'm going to glue the beautiful to the pink label here. And for me, it's this element right here. By the way, there are 3 beautifuls die cut out of Mossy Meadow that I've added all together with glue. I've stacked them, but you didn't need to see me do all that, so that's why I did it ahead of time. It's this element right here that I think pulls this entire card together, right here. That element just makes this card sing. Okay, just giving it a little pressure. And then here's my You Brighten My Day. I like these 2 greetings together. It's like saying, hey, beautiful, you brighten my day. So I'm just trimming that off. And I'm going to have to trim off some skinny pieces here because that is super skinny. Okay. And you know what? I'm just going to go full gusto here and put it on. So Jacqueline says she also gets them as soon as they're announced. And sometimes, I don't think I've ever bought 2 stamp sets accidentally, but I have bought 2 sets of, the dies accidentally. Okay, and so I'm working this one off to the side just a little bit. Got a little glue right there. And then I'm going to tuck these little hearts right down in there. Just a little sprinkling. Okay, so I have a question for you. So Valentine's is often associated with chocolates and flowers, right? If you were to get what is your favorite Valentine candy? You will never guess what mine is. Or try and guess. Oh, no, I was talking about the paper pumpkin dies, Laura. You could use any set of leafy dies, any. I just happen to be using the Greenery Lane ones because they're out on my desk currently. And then this one's just going to kind of tuck. I'm going to go under that flower. I'm just adding just a little pop of pink in here. Cute, 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 cute. Okay, and so, I don't know, that's getting kind of lumpy bumpy right there. So has anyone guessed? Just take a guess. You know, I know some people love chocolates. Maybe this is gonna dive underneath. My favorite Halloween candy, box of dark filled chocolates. That's yours. What's mine? Because I know, Laura, you like dark chocolate. I am not a dark chocolate fan. I'm also not sure I like these hearts there. Ah, edit. I'm using my edit button and I just took them off. Okay, which I think is important to do. Sometimes we add too much, right? Know how to edit. Speaking of knowing how to edit, let's add some more. Let's add some, just some pretty gems here. So I think I'm just going to do one up in here. That was a big, and now I'll do a little and a big. M&M, nope. I do like peanut M&Ms. We talked about it. Okay, Jacqueline. All right, I have to show you guys something. 2 seconds. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going around the corner here. My favorite Valentine candy, you know, if you want to send me some. Is this what you mean by Valentine hearts, Jacqueline? I am very specific. They can't be in the bag. They can't be the off brands like Brock's or whatever. It has to be the original sweethearts. And the box used to be a lot bigger, but they have to be in here because they're crunchier and the flavors are better. So that's my favorite. Jennifer, her mother one year knew that was my favorite. And after Valentine's was over, a store was selling like an entire box of those, a box of like 30 of them. And it was cheap, like, I don't know, $5 or something. And so she bought the whole thing for me. And I had no problem eating them all. It took a while, but... Okay, yep, my favorite candy. I know it's really lame, but it's what I like. Okay, I think this is a pretty card. Pretty pretty. All right, that's what my boss would say. My former boss. All right, pretty pretty. Let's see. We've got a couple more left to do. Let's see. Hey, we're doing pretty good time-wise. All right, so this next one, let's see. We're going to do kind of, it's not a fancy fold, but it's kind of a fancy fold. But guess what? We're going to kind of, this is 8.5 by 5.5, and I have scored at 3 inches and 7 1/4. So 3, 7 1/4. So that's what you're going to want. Hey, Laura Lee. Good. I'm glad you're here and enjoying. So I'm going to fold these both inward. And so this is going to be a gatefold card, but it's not got the gate right in the center. It's going to be off-centered, okay? And so that might be how we're going to do it, but no. This might be how we're going to do it, but no. We're actually going to put the short fold at the top, totally in the place where I wouldn't normally do it. Kathleen, hello. Good to have you here. You like the opposite, not the sweet tarts. You like the Baroque. Okay, that's good. So, you know, that's what makes life interesting. We each have our own, you know, and that way there's more of the ones I like for me and more of the ones Kathleen likes for her. Awesome. I'm taking a tiny bite out of the top of this flap here, and I'm ever so slightly off center, but that's okay. It's handmade. And let's see, what else am I using here? What else am I using? Okay, so I have, oh, I know. I'm like, these are my pieces, but what are they for? This is for the inside of the card. So this is 5.5 by 4 1/4. And let's see, I have all these pieces. Okay, so I have one of the labels from the kit here. I have a piece of Bubble Bath two-tone cardstock. You could use either side, the light side or the dark. I'm going to use the light. And this is cut to fit directly behind the piece here. But I'm not going to glue it just yet. I'm going to do something a little different. And I'm going to take my linen thread. And actually, before I do the linen thread, I'm going to do a little stamping on this, because if the linen thread's there, it might be a little hard to get my stamping in. Where is the cancellation stamp? Love this little friend here. So let's give that a quick clean. I'm going to stamp with soft seafoam. That has been my color of choice for this, for stamping backgrounds. And so I'm going to put that right up in here, up in here, up in here. Okay, there's that one. And down here, I'm going to add the row of hearts. Okay, it's been every color under the sun, so we got to give it a quick clean. And I'm just going to kind of give a row, just overlap that leaf image a little bit. There's one there. And I'm going to do one more just kind of above it. Just adding some texture, just like that. That's it. That's all I'm going to do for right now. My greeting, I'm going to stamp on the long pink label here. And I'm going to stamp the greeting in Mossy Meadow. Okay. You could use the red, the ink spot color. I'm like, should I? Let's do it in the Poppy Parade. Let's do it in the Poppy Parade, just for fun. I haven't done that. The other colors are getting more love than the ink spots. So just, I want the, You Brighten My Day. I really like this skinny little long image. It's kind of fun to work with. And I'm going to do that right in the center of that. Nothing too wild and crazy. Just pounce that color on. Try and get that in the center. It's kind of hard to see. My camera's right in the way where I want to stamp. Cool. I love it. All right, now that I have this stamped, I can do my linen treatment here. You're going to use a bunch of linen thread here. And I'm just kind of straightening the curls. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a fairly decent tail here that lands kind of across, going across here, okay? And I'm going to go around that, and I'm going to come up and over that one, okay? Just going in the same direction. Okay, so what I'm doing is just framing the frame. And then you come around here and we'll tie a bow up at the top. So did everybody catch what that was? I'm just simply going around, you know, from the back you can kind of see. Pretty easy. And let's cut some of this off so that we can tie a bow here. And I need to get this so that it's a little more controllable. I like it curly, but sometimes it's like, oh, come on, behave. Okay. And so we'll just add this to the top. And hopefully it's tight enough. It's not tight enough. Sorry, folks. I got to do a do-over. Oh, and now I've got a big old knot. Well, guess what? You're going to see me do the whole thing all over. Okay, hold on. Train wreck. Because it wasn't tight enough and I went to untie it and I was not doing it well. Okay, now you can see what I did. We'll use that piece for something else. All right, do over. How many times do you have to do things over? Sometimes a bunch. Okay, so leave a tail. Go around and around. Go through that bottom one, come up and around. Down, up and around. It's so easy. Let's see if she can blow it again. Let's see, I'm just going to use a dimensional. Since I kind of need, and I'm just going to kind of make it so it's not super sticky. Okay, the dimensional is not going to stay there. It's just going to help me tie my bow. You want it tight because if it's at all loose, it's it doesn't hold tight around the corners. You know what I mean? Okay. So that gave me a chance to show you how to do it again. All right. Now I can be free to tie my bow here. This is awfully unruly. So I'll just kind of tame that down. Tie your bow. That is an ugly bow. It's getting better. It's getting better. Okay, now I can take my dimensional. I'll just roll that right out, rub it right off. Take your ends, even them up. Okay, there we go. Now we have it the way I want it. And now we can add this to our pink layer there. So that way I'm kind of hiding those little bits of craziness. Now, before I glue this down, it's going to glue here, right? And then our card will open. It'll be a gatefold and it'll open like that. So I am going to do a little bit of a pencil mark action here. Before I glue it on, I'm just going to go here, here, here. And I'm going to do some stamping on this layer. I'm going to stamp with Bubble Bath and the rose. What color was it? Oh, it was already Bubble Bath. I don't have to clean. Oh, good. I like when I don't have to clean. Okay, so I'm just going to add some of these roses, kind of coming right across the top here. Rotate the image so it's not the same all the way across. Get some scratch paper in here. Okay, now I can glue that to the back, but I have to be aware of which way I am gluing it to the back of my piece here so that it's the right way. And this is the right way. Okay, so let's just take this. You can use all kinds of glue on this side. Whoops. But when we glue it as a pocket, we'll have to be more careful. Okay, so we've got this whole panel. I think that's right. I hope it's right. If not, we'll roll with it. Okay, so what is the exact measurement of my pink layer under here? It's just the same size as the postage label. And I can't seem to be putting it on straight. But now the cool thing is that sandwiches that ribbon in there. Okay, now let's go and we're going to put this on. So what I'm going to do is just flip this over. Okay, let's erase any marks that you don't want to show. So I'm going to center this on my card base, and I'm going to put a little glue here. That way this will be a pocket. And you can add a picture or some money, gift card, or if Jolinda is still here, a stick of gum. Okay. So that's just going to set right like that, folks. So there's the front of our card. And then when it opens, we have a pocket right in there. Okay, so let's see here. For the inside, well, let's finish the front, then we'll hit the inside. So we have these pieces here are going to be for the front. And I have the postage label with the gold frame, 3 of the flowers, and the label that we just stamped. And so this is going to be pretty simple here, folks. Let me do just a little from the back side here. Once we added that, it's not holding down quite as well as I'd like. So I'm just going to give this another burnish from the back, and that helps to lay that flat. Okay, and our pieces, easy enough. We're going to set one right here. This is such an easy layout once we have all that done. And then we'll just take our flowers here, and we'll add a flower, and we'll add another flower, and we'll add one more flower right up in there. Okay, and then this is just going to go right across the top. So easy, nothing too wild and crazy, but let's just put it down there. I'm going to add it with dimensionals. Let's see. These are the paper pumpkin dimensionals this month. So I'm just using these up. Okay. I have one last card after this one. If you want me to do it, I will. If not, let me know. Say, yeah, no, get the hook, you're done. But I have one more planned if you'd like, and it's a shaker card. Okay, so this is just going to kind of go boring, and it's going to go center. And you could color these with your blends like I did the other one. We could also layer this one underneath and this one on top. And on top, ooh, I kind of like that, mixing it up just a little bit. I think that's what we're going to do. Just kind of fun to change it just a little here and there. Now, you could actually give these flowers a little bit of curl. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to give them just a little bit of a gentle fold there. So we'll add these, or this one right here, rather. Okay. John Lacey says, yes, more. Okay. All right. I just don't want to be too boring. Rose Carey, all right, I will do it. I will do it. I'm just getting hungry. I haven't eaten anything today, and I've been up since like 6. I don't know why I keep getting up so early. Well, yeah, I do know why I keep getting up early. Opposite of Rose, something about the winter that I go to bed earlier just because, you know, it just seems like everything has slowed down. So I just kind of go there. Okay, I'm going to move this just a little higher than what it is. There we go, just for balance sake. And then this piece is just going to stretch right across. And you know what? It's getting dimensionaled because I think it'll be fun. All right. I think that if I show you this last one, I think that uses up all my pieces. I can't quite remember. Okay, so that's there. Let's add a few gems and a little splatter. I'm going to splatter this one with some Mossy Meadow and Wink of Stella. I just kind of want to soften some of this and just give it, again, it adds that little bit of dimension. Cool. Just like that. I like that. I like that. And Stella. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Janet. Okay, I am going to not do the center of this card just yet. I will have it stamped for you and you'll see it in photos. But what it is I'm just gonna, just do some simple stamping on the inside, nothing wild and crazy. But this piece that I had earlier, this is just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Trim it down as much as you need to fit inside. And so when you open your card, you'd be here, and then you have just some nice, place to do some things. So you could actually add some more roses down here. There's lots of opportunity to keep stamping, but let's add some gems to this. Let's add some of the pink, the pretty in pink here. Let's go for a big, and I'm gonna do a big, like right up in here, and a small, just kind of break into that line. And let's see, I'm gonna do another small there. We're gonna load it up, man. Sometimes I have all these gems and I don't get them used up, so use them or lose them. Oops, that was strawberry slush. Let me do that with pink. Want to do it with pretty and pink, so they're all the same. Okay, we'll kind of tuck that one, tuck and shove, and we'll do another one. Hey, it didn't come with me. I'll just do another one right about there. So just adding some gems, having some fun. All right, there it is. Got to get the bow to cooperate here, but I think this is fun. And I like that little kind of, a really simple approach to doing a quick weave with your linen thread. All right, last card is going to be a shaker card. And we're going to use, these are pieces from the kit here. Let's see. First piece you're going to need is the white note card size. And you're going to need the label. And I've already die cut the postage stamp out of the center. And I'll just bring this collage card from Stampin' Up's challenge. I don't know if you can see it, that layer right underneath there, there's a whole layer in there. That's where that came from. So I did die cut that. I just put the postage label die on the center of this big postage die, and I taped it in place and ran it through. You'll need your full size to, this isn't gonna fit through the mini dimensional, but so a full size machine, but I just cut it dead center the best I could. And so this is gonna be our window, and this is going to be our background. Speaking of background, let's just work on this a little bit here. We're gonna start with some fun background stamping that will set the stage for your shaker elements. So I'm gonna be using the words Happy Valentine's, and I'm just giving them a quick clean because we're gonna be switching up the color. The row of hearts and the airmail. Where is that airmail image? Here it is. There's the airmail image. All right. And so this is what we're going to do. We're going to take, let's fold this in half. We'll burnish it. And I'm going to place this. Okay, I'm just going to hold on right now. So I'm placing it as if it were centered. And I'm going to give myself just a couple, I'm just going to give myself some little marks here so that I know where things are going. Now, I also know that I'm going to be taking one of the large flowers here, and it's going to be sitting down here in the corner. So I'm going to trace these petals kind of where they are. So all of that will erase, but now I have some guides where I'm going to be placing my stamping, all right? So let's start the stamping with I'm going to start with the airmail image, and all of the airmail images are going to be in soft seafoam. Okay, so I'm gonna ink that up. And this is just gonna come down here towards the bottom. And yeah, some of it's gonna get chopped off. You're not gonna see it because of the flower, but that's okay. And I'm gonna do another one up in here. And let's do another one kind of not too far away from it on the other side. And we'll do one last one right up in here. Okay, so that was 4 of those. Tricky to see. I'm trying to hold that to where you can see better. But next, I'm going to stamp with Bubble Bath. And I'm going to stamp the Happy Valentines in Bubble Bath. Okay, and these are just going to kind of follow. Now I'm just going to kind of play off of the airmail image. So there's a Happy Valentine's there. Man, can you even see it? And let's see, we're going to do another one like right about here. Okay, and we'll do one more kind of sneaking off the edge over there. Spreading them out just a little bit. Next, let's do the ink spot, the Poppy Parade ink spot, and we'll stamp the hearts, the row of hearts. All right. And so I'm just going to do a row in here, up in here, and we'll do a row under this airmail. So you're just creating a background of whatever you like. I'm gonna do one more right coming off the edge here. That's not going to show, so don't worry. And I think I'll do one more right there. Okay, so there's my hearts. There's my background. The last thing I'm going to do to the background is turn this into a party by adding some splatters. I'm adding Poppy Parade splatters. And I'm going to add Old Olive splatters. All right, so that's the background for all of my shaker elements, okay? So kind of fun, kind of fun. And we're gonna bring this back in and let's just kind of do a little bit of a layout so you can see what we're gonna do. I have taken, and I only have one of these, so this is how it was. So there was some flowers, some leaves here, and some sprays up here. So I've just kind of chopped it apart so that I could rearrange the elements and let it be my design. All right, so I am going to erase my pieces, my pencil marks here, because those might show. So let's just clean it up. All right, there's that. So let's bring our flower back in. And I do have, let's see, one. Hello, come on. I'm looking at my notes here. Bringing this around. Okay, so I do have one of the images here. This is the rose image. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to use this or not, but I am going to cancel the image. And I am going to cancel the image. Oh, did I forget my black ink pad? Oh, shoot, Queen. This was supposed to be in black. All right, I forgot my black, so I'm going to do the red for now, but I am going to fix it, and I'm going to have it in black when you see the pictures, because you'll see why I want to use black here in a minute. So I will use red for now, but this is the cancellation image. And I just wanted some black to kind of tie in to, okay, I'm just canceling the stamp, okay? So that's gonna get added. And I have one last thing here, and that is this image here. I wanted to stamp it in black right on here, but for now, what I'm gonna do, I am gonna stamp on a scrap of white, because I do want it to be black. So just bear with me for now. I'm just going to do it just so that you can see you'll see why I want black in a second. But for now, I'm going to do it in the red just because I forgot to bring my black pad. Did I? Shoot. I thought I had it all out. All right. So just for now, I'm just going to do Sending Love in red. Imagine that it's just black. And you can use any black you have. I was planning to use just Memento. So just tuxedo black. Okay. That is good. When you see the final pictures, I'm going to stamp directly on there, okay? So it'll look just a little bit different. But for now, I'm going to put this on with a little bit of a dimensional, just one. But I'm going to, because I don't want this to be permanent, I'm just going to take some of the tack out of that so that I can easily remove it. So you're going to stamp Sending Love right in that, you're going to center it right in there. Okay, with black, but for now you're getting it in red. Okay, so now my pieces are ready. Let's actually make the shaker part. So I'm going to take the Terran tape that they put in our kit, and I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, going around the postage window that I've die cut. And I have cut a piece of window sheet. And the window sheet that I cut, I know is, let's see if I can remember, it's 4.5 or 4.25 inches. Okay, so it's 4.25 by 3. So I'm 3 inches this way, 4.25 this way. And we'll put that down onto our Terran tape here. So let's just burnish these on so that they'll come off. Isn't that funny? Let's burnish them on so they'll come off, so that the backing tape will easily release, right? Okay, just getting these. Okay, ta-da, they're off. Now this is going to lay, and if you're slightly crooked or whatever, not to worry. Just get that on there. Burnish that on nicely. So you've got a good stick. Then you're going to use your adhesive strips, and you're going to go all the way around. Okay, and so I'm just going to put those right to the edge. And I'll clip that. Now make sure you butt right up against it so that your little shakies or whatever you're going to put in yours don't get lost. Okay, I'll use that later. Oops, just need one strip. Okay, so just build that all the way around. And again, just making sure that you don't have any spots where your shaker elements can escape. Okay, just wiggle that in there. There we go. And I am going to use, I have some leftovers from last month's Made with Love. Our technique time, and this is why I wanted to use black, is because these little envelopes in there are black, and so that's why I wanted to kind of have some, I wanted that repetition of black in there somewhere. So just sprinkle in your goodies here, as many as you want. Okay, maybe a few more. And these are cute. They remind me of what would go on top of a cupcake. The cool thing is that these are actually two-sided, so it doesn't matter which side they are. And if you don't have many, use what you need and reserve yourself one heart. Whether it's red or pink, it doesn't matter, but reserve one. Okay, we'll take these off. And now the hardest thing is going to be putting this on just right. Okay, so we're going to add this to the back of our shaker. Hopefully I have it right. Cute, right there, that's cute, right? I'm done. These are such great elements, but look, that's a cute shaker card. And now let's finish this up with our pieces here. So I'm going to probably be doing some trimming of my leaves and things. So I'm just gonna kind of trim that off. And I'm gonna trim that off as well. I'm gonna add my rose first, but my rose is gonna sit down here. Look at that, those lips are standing straight up. Oh well, okay, so the rose is gonna be down in here. We're going to have the trio of leaves coming there. And then this one, gonna come up in here. And if you want it to fit in an envelope, keep everything within the postage stamp here. And this is gonna become just kind of, we'll do several of these up in here. Okay, so I'm gonna chop this off and rearrange just a little bit, get a slightly different angle on this one. I'm gonna kind of turn it out just a little bit. So there's 3 reaching up in there. And then sending love, this is, remember, this is stamped directly on there, is gonna just come right onto our rose. And our postage stamp is gonna come up in there. We'll put this on with dimensionals. Now, I'm not loving, see, I wanted that in black to kind of hit this black, so we'll see. I'm gonna use this one that I didn't use earlier because I don't like the red on the red. But this is going up in here as if it were like being mailed out. Got to put a postage stamp on it, right? Fun. And then we'll put these all on. Okay, so we're just gonna glue these. Where's my glue? Because this card is puffy enough. Is there such thing as puffy enough? I don't know. Okay, so we'll add that one there. And then I'm going to put glue here to add my flower. And I'll add my leaves as well. I'm trying to eyeball where the glue is going to go. Okay. There we go. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. It's fun. It's flashy. And we'll add these. I think I'm going to put my glue here. We'll add that there. That way I'm not trying to glue to acetate. That's just not going to be the best, right? Okay, that one's just going to fly, be free. If I want to tuck a little glue under there, I could. So there's that. And then your greeting is just going to come right down in here. And I think this is glued, that's dimensional. It feels like it's dimensional because that one little shaker element is standing this way, not that way. But I am going to put this on with dimensionals because there won't be this layer here, okay? So we'll put it on with dimensionals. In fact, I'm even going to take this off in just a second so we can kind of just see that it's not too wild and crazy. But before I take it off, I'm going to do one last thing. So that sending love is just going to kind of come down in there. You could also kind of play with it if you want and maybe do it up in here or, ooh, even there is kind of fun. But I kind of liked the coming off of I kind of had this turned a little bit more. Coming down in here. So what you're going to do, stamp that in black directly on the label. And then you're going to take one of your hearts, pink or red, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you like. Let me grab this pink one. It's towards the top. And you're going to glue that right on the O of the word love. All right? So, but let's just take this off for now so it's not so clunky looking. Right? Where's my adhesive remover? So, yeah. The black right there will help balance the black that's in there. So, but let's do some Stampin' on the inside here. Let's just finish this off and make it fun and cute and have it match the front. So I am going to stamp more of the roses, and I'm going to stamp with Bubble Bath, since that's what we were stamping. Where did my rose go? Here it is. And so just do a couple of these. We'll do one. I'll rotate that. Give myself a second one there. And then I'll just do a little bit more right there. So we're just kind of coming down and around the corner. And the row of hearts, those will be in red, because that's what we did them in. Let me scooch all this stuff out of the way. Where's the row of hearts? Here they are. And I'm going to do a couple rows of hearts here. I'm going to do one on the bottom. That's just kind of right here at this edge. And then I'm going to set another row on top of it. Just kind of right there like that. And the love, the circle love image, let's do that one in red as well. Get that all inked up. And I'm going to bridge these items with that image by touching them together. And airmail, let's do that one. That was in green, right? We did that in soft sea foam. So I'm just repeating the same colors on the inside. One, so you don't have to clean the image, but mostly for continuity's sake. And so we'll just put the little airmail image right here. And yes, I'm overlapping and collaging the images. And we will add some splatter to all of this. Okay, so we'll just repeat the party splatter from the inside. That kind of fits the shaker feel, right? So here's some of that. There's some of the Poppy Parade. Boy, that looks like a brand new blend. I don't use that color very often. And there's a little bit of the green. And then we'll catch a little wink of Stella as well. And so this look here that I've done with this particular inside of the card, this is reminiscent of what I would do with all of these. So look for the photos tomorrow, and they will each have, I'll do some inside work so you can see what I've done. But that's kind of what the thought would be. So there is my shaker card. She was shaking. All right, let's just do a quick review of what we've got going here. Well, first off, I stamped an envelope for my shaker card. So again, just kind of repeating those hearts. Just scooch all this stuff out of the way. Move out of the way. All right, so we've got our shaker card. We've got our gate fold card here, looking good. We have our Encore Sketch Challenge. Love this one. Okay, that's a fun one. We just did some shaping of the rose here to give it some dimension. And let's see, what was before that one? I think we did some collage work with this guy, adding a little stamping to the envelopes. And we have the Sketch Challenge from Stampin' Up. So perfect set of images to work with that Sketch Challenge. And then we have just kind of venturing out, changing the color palette just a little bit. And then this was our first super simple approach to just getting our feet wet and using elements from the kit itself. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you, everybody who has come. Thank you for your comments. It helps make it fun and interesting and more interactive. Don't forget, if you love the Lovely Blossoms Sweet Collection, to sign up for my class. 3 ways to sign up. PDF for $17. You can purchase a kit for $38. Now, my kit used to be $37. I had to go up because postage went up. Not because I needed it to go up, but because instead of, being like in the high 3s, low 4s, it's now in the low 5s. So sorry about that, but you can thank the post office. And you can earn it for free with a $75 purchase, which will also get you the Global Ink Collective tutorial bundle. So a lot of freebies there. I hope you will join me. It will be a fun class where we're going to dive into some techniques, some ink coloring techniques, and some clever cuts and some contemporary layouts. So I will see you guys February 26th. Catch you then. Bye-bye.